Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Today, we have a wizard with the paintbrush. She's the creator of Ashlee Banxxs, and she makes a mean cup of tea, which I hope to get some when I get inside. It's a beautiful day in LA. I am your host, Nisa, and you're now in a session with Ashlee Banxxs.
Hey,
what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You want some tea?
Yeah, please.
Okay. You can have a seat over here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's hot. Yep. All right, I grabbed it wrong. Okay. All right. So, what inspired you this morning?
What inspired me this morning?
What inspired you this morning?
You know what I did try to do today?
What?
I woke up because I tried to get some shoes on Sneakers app and I took a L.
So sneakers inspired you this morning.
Yes, I really wanted these shoes, and you know, like everybody else, lost to the bots and the resale, so I didn't get those today. So
I mean, I didn't even have this in my notes, but you are a sneakerhead.
baby one.
A baby one. What got you into sneakers?
I honestly have a friend who like collects a lot of sneakers, and I think just his influence of like the sneaker culture and not just buying the hype shoes and actually like for the color and the artistry and the aesthetics. I was like, oh, but then it was a bad habit because you're spending money, so I try to like not really buy them. But then there are the few that you do want to get, they go with your fits and get like your collection started. So I'm like a baby. I would say like my top 3 that I do like are the Jordan 1s. If they have like a really dope colorway, I want to get those. The Blazers in Air Max 90s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, those Air Max 90s is classic. You got like classic shoes. Well, thank you for having me here in your studio. It's an amazing place. Like, we have your artwork that's displayed here. I can't wait to actually get you in the booth. But before that, definitely want to talk about you and talk about your journey and the things that inspire you. You already said shoes. But you being a Southern California girl, but also have deep roots in the South. Tell me what the South means to you and just that culture.
I feel like everyone has roots in the South. It just depends on where you trace it. I'm second generation Los Angeles native. My parents were born here, but my grandparents are from Alabama, and my other set of grandparents from Ohio. So I decided to go to a HBCU for college and went back to Alabama, where my grandparents are from. And it's just an amazing experience going to an HBCU. It's just this mosh pit of Black excellence and energy and culture, and it was actually something that I don't think I knew what I was expecting when I went there. I just was like, if I'm not going to go to fashion school, I'm going to a Black college. I've learned some amazing things in college that I've known when I came back home that people aren't learning out here. It's not like going to a PWI, and it's different, and it was very rewarding. Best decision I ever made in my life.
And just to clarify, what is PWI?
It's a predominantly white institution.
Okay.
And HBCU is a historically Black college and university. So
now, coming up in high school, I heard this happened to me personally, and we hear this story happen all the time where teachers or counselors try to guide you not to go to a HBCU, and a lot of times they try to push you to go to a junior college first. But how important do you think it is to the education system to promote HBCUs in high school and even middle school, because we don't really get that, like
right.
you get the Georgetowns or
especially when you're in LA,
Right.
My decision actually out of high school was to go to a fashion institute, and so that was my goal the whole time, was to go to fashion school and major in something in merchandising. My father had different ideas for me, and I'm actually kind of glad he did, because I was able to get a 4-year degree, which I wouldn't have been able to do if I went to the Fashion Institute out here in LA. Right. But I do feel like school should kind of shine light on different opportunities for students. It doesn't have to just be a Cal State. Let them know about the art schools. Let them know about HBCUs. Let them know about different things that they can do, because sometimes, like myself, you already kind of know what you want to focus on, but you don't know where to put that energy into. Mm-hmm. And because I knew I wanted to do fashion, I went to go to fashion school. But because my father was like, hey, maybe try something else, I was like, well, I'm going to find fashion at HBCU. I wanted to prove him wrong. And I did. But I know he's proud of me, whatever I decided to do. But I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I went to a HBCU. If you kind of focus on your goals early on, or at least have a mentor to help you kind of figure out what it is that you're interested in and you're passionate about, that you can start that off early in your career.
Explain how important it is to have a mentor as you're, like you said, as you're starting off and as you're developing from going into fashion, wanting to be in the fashion industry to doing fine art. How important was to find those mentors and those different, and how did you go about doing them?
It's really important. It was hard for me, honestly. In the apparel industry, I never really found a mentor. When it came to art, I think your circle of friends too is like really important. Finding like-minded creative people that want to inspire you, but you inspire each other. Right. That's really important. If you don't have a mentor, you need a group of friends that are creative. Because we all have those times where like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hitting a wall. I want to quit.
Yes. Blah,
blah, blah. But then even then, I feel like with social media now, just, hey, shoot your shot and DM somebody and be like, hey, I'm an inspiring XYZ. I was wondering if you can give me some pointers.
So you're saying it's okay to slide in people's DMs for more than just, to actually find a mentor.
That's a slippery slope, but yes, to find a mentor. I mean, approaching people in general can sometimes be a little scary. Yeah. So all you can do is try. You'll get 1,000 no's in life. I don't know how many jobs I've applied for straight out of college that I got no, until I found that one yes, and I was like, okay, finally.
So your first art show that you had was called the Golden Year, and it was a mixture of each painting went with a fashion piece, correct? Mm-hmm. Or it was coupled with the fashion piece. How did that come about? What was the thought process of that?
That passion for fashion.
Passion for fashion.
I feel like as creatives, sometimes we have so many different ideas or so many things that we're good at, and we're trying to figure out how to blend them. And what I was doing was trying to combine fashion and art, because it was two things I was very passionate about, and I wanted to showcase both of those. So I wanted to kind of show how they both intersect. And in doing that, I was able to, one, paint a piece, but also create a dress that reflected that artwork, or vice versa. I learned a lot. I think sometimes it's scary just taking that first step. And then once I did, I was like, oh, I could do this, did it already. So I have no excuse to not do it again. But you do have hiccups along the road of actually producing your first art show or fashion show, and realize like, okay, you can only get better from there. So I did it. I was inspired by women, and in Black women. A lot of my paintings were of Black women, and all of my models were Black women. And at the time, I felt like women were becoming themselves a little bit more. We weren't as afraid to be who we naturally were. And I was inspired by that. I was inspired by women wearing their natural hair more often. Every job I had before then, I felt that I had to have a certain appearance, and that may have meant straighten my hair for the interview, because I had to look polished or look a certain way. And I feel like when I got to my current position, I was like, I'm gonna wear my curly hair, and if they like it, they like it. If they don't, hey, I'm not gonna keep putting on this mask for people and feeling like I'm dimming myself. Right. That was kind of something I was experiencing, so that's what I did in my show.
June 2019, I felt that you had another art show, and it was called A New Perspective. Mm-hmm. If it's a moment where you could look at an artist and say they found themselves, I feel like this was your blueprint. Like you know, this piece was from it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just knowing that this art show was about you blended your love of art and science, and using equations and being inspired by Isaac Newton. Like you really put it up there for people just to be like, what's this? Why is it equations on this thing? Like, I love it, I'm amazed by it, but what is it? Explain you coming into yourself as this blossoming artist that's sitting in front of me right now?
It's one of those things I feel like every artist has to go through, is really just kind of sitting still in yourself. I feel like sometimes as humans or as creatives, I feel like everyone's creative. They just have to kind of sit in themselves and figure it out. And then one day I was looking at this album cover, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes.
And there's just something about this prism and these color rays that was just like so captivating. And I was like, I know there's a meaning behind this. And so I started researching what these color rays mean and how are they produced, how are they reflected on different surfaces. And then you kind of go through that rabbit hole of like, click, 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 click. What does this mean? What does this mean? And then I was like, oh, my mind was like opened. That's when I kind of start adding some of those equations into my artwork, and not all of them, but I wanted people to kind of understand if you were to have a light source coming from, you know, whatever angle, and it's reflected into this surface and it refracted from that to another angle, this is what it would look like. So I used different monochromatic colors, and this one right here was in the show. And it's funny, when I created this one, I created this before I decided to have a show. And I created this one because I do not like the color pink. I just grew up never liking pink. I'm a purple girl. Pink to me was too girly. But I felt like if I made myself, force myself to create something in a color that I didn't like, that would help me see beauty in it.
Right.
Because there's really beauty in everything. It just depends on how you look at it. And so I decided to just, you know, torture myself by doing all these crazy angles and it like overlapping in different shades of black. Well, not shades, but shades, you know, of red, maroon. And then once I finished, I was like, I felt achieved because it took a lot out of me.
We went from the golden year paintings where it was a lot about African American women being themselves and finding themselves. Then we find ourselves with a new perspective. What's the next? The next.
What I am inspired about now is really about sustainability, climate change, preserving our beautiful earth. As an artist, we should have a message that we have for everyone. And, you know, with everything that's going on now with climate change and a whole bunch of other things that we're dealing with, I definitely wanted to showcase how I am using my voice for climate change. And I feel like a lot of stuff that I'm producing now, they're all out of recycled materials. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also been like creating my own frames out of recycled t-shirts and, you know, stretching them over canvases and using cardboard. And even with this whole quarantine, saving all of my like cardboard and stuff to add into my art. I'm trying to be as least wasteful as I can. I think sometimes the challenge is like trying to figure out what your message is, but without it being like in your face. And I think I have to take a step back and just kind of be like, you know, well, the message in itself is still science, you know, but in my materials can be another message as well. So
yeah, I can't wait to see the next, like all those things when it comes about, because we see the growth from golden year to a new perspective to, you know, upcycling things and really caring about the climate of the earth. But we're also talking about uprising, and we're seeing it and we're living in it, which is, you know, a blessing in a sense, but it's also gonna affect a lot of change. But how has that been on you as a creative?
It's such a weird space for me. As a Black woman, my mind got kind of clouded. And it's one of those things that's like, should I paint something that has to do with the current times? I'm like, honestly, that's just not the type of stuff that I paint. So finding that energy to even paint during this time when a lot of what I paint is about, you know, science, and it really requires my mind to be like mellow and I guess focused. And to do so, I do take a lot of baths.
So when you say you take a lot of baths, you actually have a company that you're starting called Baths with Banxxs.
Something like that.
Okay. How important is that to your routine and just your mental stability and mental health, especially during this time?
Yeah, I feel like it is my way to get back to myself. And how I got into spiritual bathing was realizing that I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, you know, from just day-to-day things. And I kind of just realized when I would take more baths, I'd be more in a, like, relaxed and in a better mood. So then I start kind of like digging deeper into, okay, what am I doing? And I didn't realize, okay, I'm actually doing a ritual. And so within that ritual, me taking a bath, it allows me to take time for myself, because I feel like we're in a society where we go, go, go. So taking a shower, you know, let me get in the shower real quick, blah, 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 and out. And in the bath, I have to spend more time.
Yeah.
It allows you to slow down and take your time and actually put your phone away. And then maybe have the music playing and, you know, have candles burning and then just kind of be alone in your thoughts. And some people say prayer or, you know, whatever it is that they do. And then make sure you spend enough time in it so that when you get out, you feel refreshed.
Before we get out of here, we're going to do a little lightning round situation. So I'm just going to ask you some questions and just give your answers as fast as possible. Do not think about them. Ready? All right. Favorite superhero?
Storm.
Okay. One album that you could listen on repeat?
Erykah Badu's first album.
Okay. Nikes or Adidas?
Nikes.
What's your favorite movie that you watched during quarantine?
You know, I haven't watched it yet, but my favorite movie is Step Brothers.
Favorite painter?
I don't know, but I love Bob Ross's wits and his he's just peaceful, you know.
Yeah.
His artistry is, his technique's awesome, but yeah.
Yeah. City you can't wait to visit once the Rona's away?
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah, I was supposed to go, and you know, the Rona had other plans.
The Rona had other plans. Favorite ingredient to add to your baths?
Sea salt.
Favorite meal to cook?
Some type of pasta.
Favorite color?
Purple, violet.
What's your favorite tea?
My favorite tea is lavender chamomile.
Wow. All right. So now that was fun. Look, that was easy. You're not no stress about that.
Okay. I mean, the Bob caught me off. Well, the favorite artist.
Favorite artist,
Yeah,
Bob
so
Ross.
just
I mean,
say
that was
Bob.
a good one though. You
Bob's entertaining.
Bob, but say Bob. So, but now, you know, we want to get you in the booth and, you know, get
I'm gonna
you.
spit some bars. I got a 16. I'm ready.
You got a 16?
Nah, I don't.
Okay, cool. But no, we want to get you doing what you do in the
Okay.
booth, and it is, you know, doing some art and creating a piece, and just get some shots of you doing that. So you ready?
Cool. Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got Ish on the beat, Banxxs in the booth. Amazing.
Thank you.
As usual, I can't wait to see the finished piece.
Thank you.
But thank you for being on the intercession. Please tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Ashlee Banxxs. That's ASHLEE BANXXS at Instagram, and that's my Gmail, and that's also my website. 2 X's and an S.
Yes, please make sure you spell it properly.
Correctly.
The
Yes.
correct way. You want to find the right Ashlee Banxxs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Neeson, and you have now been in a session with Ashlee Banxxs.